Hello everybody, welcome to Cape Rugby TV. It is a Wednesday at 9 o'clock and rather chilly and wet. It looks like the Cape Town weather is coming. Coffee is along, all the way from Kenya. Special guest on the show this evening, and of course it's hard to say that he's not part of the family or part of the team, and we're welcoming him along. Ish-maeel Dollie. Hello Ish.
How's it, JP? Thanks for having me on board.
It's a long time overdue, my man, long time overdue. As I said, part of the family, part of the Cape Rugby team already. Nice to have you here.
Yeah, we come a long way. I'm glad to be on the show, and what Cape Rugby does for community sport in the Western Cape, it's superb. Yeah,
no, it is. We've had some fantastic progression in the last couple of years. Mr. H is not here this evening. Unfortunately, he had some other things to attend to, as did Morgan Newman. So pretty much slightly trimmed down, so to speak, panel this evening. Speaking about well-trimmed and well-shaped, a legend himself, Jerome Parwater. Yes, Jerome, like it.
Goeienaand JP, baie goed, dankie. Ek lyk my ek het 'n klomp goed vanaand om oor te praat sien en my ander manne nie hier is nie.
Jong, ek het 'n gevoel dat dit was seker die Superbroer predictions wat nie te lekker gegaan het vir almal nie, so hulle het nou gedak. Alhoewel ek dink ek seker die laaste ou om te praat oor Superbroer predictions en dit so sleg gegaan. But anyway, let's take a look now at the Varsity Cup. It is, of course, we're in the final week now. It was the Varsity Shield on Monday. Those semi-finals were played in the finals were played in the Shield match, and of course the Varsity Cup final is coming up this forthcoming Monday. Let's take a look at the results then. Of course, CPUT or at least CUT against FNB UWC, and it was a win for CUT 29-19. Of course, the guys played away. They played in Bloemfontein. It was a long trip there. And the man at the helm, together with Peter de Villiers and, of course, Oliver Janssen, was the man who's on the panel right now, Jerome. It was a tight game, though.
Yeah, JP, definitely. I think the guys were up, and we really went up there with the mission. And it almost seems like a home game also for us, because UWC had 2 buses up there with supporters. At one stage, it really feels like we had UWC with all the people singing, so it was good and a great atmosphere there. And also a few of the people's family went up there. Calvin the Brains, the props, that.
Well, I believe they took a bus up there. I know that UWC organised the whole bus for the fans to come up along.
They had a bus and they had a mini bus.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of people. Yeah, and also. Like I said, Calvin the Brain's dad went up. He was there to support, and the captain Charlie's dad were there. So there were a lot of people. There were a lot of support, and I think one thing that UWC can be proud of, the players can be proud of, they didn't let the fans down.
Yeah. But I mean, isn't this just fantastic to see how they have come through the ranks here? They've done extremely well. They're in the final. I mean, that's something to be proud of, and not just that. Also the fact that. We see the fans getting behind the team now. So they're starting to build a little bit of culture, a little bit of fan entertainment, and this is going to get momentum, and next year is going to be even bigger and better with an even bigger fan base.
Yeah, definitely, JP. And Peter de Villiers also said before the game, he told the players, it's amazing. He almost got more emails and SMSs from people wishing the team well than what they've got at the World Cup.
Well, there's no surprise for me actually in that, because if we consider how many people are watching club rugby and who that audience is, well, it's pretty obvious that Peter in this space is going to be more popular in the club rugby space than he probably was in the Springbok space. He might there get into certain newspapers and on certain TV shows, but now he's in the space where the masses participate. I think this is one of the differences. Ish, how's it been for you from a club rugby perspective that you know, you're not in the mainstream of, I mean, and let me quickly go through some of your resume, so to speak. I mean, you played for the Brumbies, you played for Western Province under 21, you played in Japan, you played in the Vodacom Currie Cup, you played for Boerland, you played, of course, for SK Warmers, you played in the SA under 21s, you played for the Emerging Box. Okay, so you've got a fairly long record, but all of that stuff as a professional, you're in the top level. Now you're in the club rugby space. Now you're amongst the masses. How has it been for you, the sort of attention that you've been getting in that space?
Well, firstly, I think that Peter de Villiers has got to take a lot of credit for what he's done at UWC. He's done a great job in terms of bringing the rugby up, and it can only be better for them for the future. It's difficult because when you're in the mainstream, all eyes on you, the media's on you, but the actual heroes out there are the guys that are playing the rugby in the communities. Those are the actual heroes, and I think it's important for Western Province to invest in structures and equipment and facilities for the heroes out there, and especially those that are playing community rugby.
I mean, I believe that we're getting a lot more attention now in club rugby. So I think it's one of those things that you can see you can be a professional player and you can walk down the mall in the mall as a professional player, and some people might not even recognize you because they might not have seen you on TV. Now you're in the club space and all of a sudden you're on TV amongst the masses, and a lot of people are able to stop you, talk to you, and for the first time they've actually seen your face. Okay, so a good result for UWC if we take the whole big picture. They would obviously wanted to come away with a win there. CUT takes the win. They are the Varsity Shield champs, but nevertheless a massive proud factor for UWC. Yeah,
definitely, JP. I mean, it's at the final is like that. That's definitely the case for UWC, was the bounce of the ball on the night. When they one kick, we were 19 all at one stage, and there were about 6 minutes left.
Yeah.
I was just about to radio to the guys on the field there, the physio, to tell the guys just to slow it down because we're going to go to extra time, and because we had certain plans what we wanted to do. And then they kick, and unfortunately our winger couldn't feel the ball, and it bounced in their centre's hand, and he went to score. So it changed everything. But I must say, up until the end, the guys didn't give up, and we were about to go and score in the last minute. And unfortunately, a penalty went against us, which I really don't think it was a penalty, but unfortunately, the ref gave the penalty. So the guys never gave up, and that's good, and that's what we've been working on this whole season, from pre-season to the camp. And I mean, a lot of clubs and a lot of teams in Cape Town can take a leave out of what UWC have done this year, and also the players. I mean, as you said, guys from nothing to achieve what they've achieved, and people were talking about them, and it's great.
And it's not just a club that's achieved, come up through the ranks here. I think what's important to also note is that UWC itself is a university that comes from a previously disadvantaged background, and they themselves have had to work hard to support UWC to get into the process. It's not a mainstream top-end university that has had all the support of some of the other universities. So you've got to give credit to the administrators at UWC.
Yeah, definitely, JP. As you said, I mean, from nothing to achieve that, and also they've worked their way off from sort of the lower leagues in Western Province, and they're up in Super B now, and the plan for them is now to go further, and fortunately for them, they not in like last year, they lost a lot of players playing Varsity Cup, going to other clubs, so they stay in they're still going to stay and play for UWC in the league now, so they can easily go up and win the league, because they've got all I think they're way ahead of clubs in the Super B now, so they can go up and win the league and play Super A next year, and they can attract more players.
Well, if there's a new competition format, they will probably go into the new league structure anyway.
So in any case,
they basically just need to stay, I think, in the top 5. Yeah. If that's the case. Although that new league structure still has to be approved by council, and folks, before we jump the gun there, it's a bit of time before we know exactly what will happen with next year's new league structures. So congratulations to UWC. We think you've put in an excellent performance, having been at the middle of the table there for quite a while during the Varsity Shield tournament. You are now or at least you're now a finalist of the Varsity Shield. So congratulations. I think you've got a reason to puff your chest out and keep your chin up high. So well done, guys. We're going to take an ad break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at the Varsity Cup and see which teams are in the final and what you can expect this coming Monday night. Back in a mo.
Hi, I'm Bob Skinstead, and you're watching Cape Rugby TV.
Welcome back, folks. It is, of course, Cape Rugby TV, Wednesday nights at 9, and we bring you the very best of club rugby. Season time is upon us. We kick off on Saturday. This is what everybody's been waiting for. This is the exciting time, and it is fever pitch. We've never seen so many pre-tournament matches in many years. It has been Varsity Cup, it's been Varsity Shield, it has been Community Cup, and not to mention all those friendlies and festivals and so on that we would have seen. Of course, this coming Monday, we will wrap up the Varsity Cup tournament, and it's going to be absolutely monstrous as we see Marties take on Tuks and that's of course at the Craven Stadium. Let's take a look at that fixture. There we see it at the Craven Stadium. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock this coming Monday, the 8th of April. So it is FNB Marties up against FNB Tuks. Right, Jerome, monster match. Once again, two strong teams taking on each other, but surely Marties is going to be too strong for Tuks playing on a home ground.
Yeah, JP, it's just strange, as you were mentioning now, all the rugby that there has been playing, and it's only April now, and it's still a long season ahead of us, and everybody's watching rugby. There's schools tournaments, there's community cup. It's crazy. I don't know where it's going to end, but it's just crazy.
Well, that's the thing about rugby today. It never ends. It's a 12-month season. You're either playing games, or you're doing off-season training, or you're doing pre-season training, or after rugby you recover for about 2 weeks. It's still rugby recovery, and then you're straight back into training. I mean, it is 12 months of rugby. We might as well turn this into a 12-month TV show.
No, it's definitely, JP. I'm also like start to feel that need to use some more of the Evoc stuff now, because it's getting hectic. But as you were saying, it's it's for Marties. It's also like CUT. I mean, they've gone unbeaten through the competition, winning the Shield without any losses. And for Marties is the same. I think it can be history for them to go through the competition without losing a game. And I think it's the Marties only. I think once they were out of with not reaching the finals since the Varsity Cup started. So I think it's not going to be easy for them, because it looks like Tuks are peaking at the right time. Look at last week's result for them. So it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be good, and I believe it's almost sold out at Craven Stadium. So
as it always is, Ish, they've got a new coach. They've got a couple of new players, as universities do. They change and so on. You think Marties is going to be too strong for Tuks, or?
Home ground advantage, definitely. I think it's two powerhouses against each other, but I think Marties has too much power for these guys, and they're playing on Kutsenberg, so all the students will come out and support their boys.
Chris Rousseau as coach there now. He's the new coach. He's taken over this year from Sean Roux. I mean, you know Chris quite well yourself. Do you think his experience as a former professional player will calm the guys down a little bit?
I think most definitely. He's played under, I think, Jerome as well, and he's got good knowledge of the game. He's played for Free State as well, so his record speaks for himself. Speaking now of the Varsity Cup, he's done really well with the team, so we wish him all the best, and they should bring the cup home.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Hopefully, hopefully these tournaments that can sometimes be seen as, not for everybody. Hopefully they also encourage other people in another manner to perform and pay attention to more rugby, which can only just be for the benefit of rugby, Jerome.
Yeah, definitely, JP. I mean, just an example there is like one of the UWC players, Tess Umfuslani, the lock.
Yeah, he was of course the player that rocks. Yeah. He was the player that rocks in the match against CPU. I keep wanting to say Forte. Forte. Yeah.
So he might play this weekend against Border for Western Province Vodacom Cup side. Yeah. And I mean, he's still a youngster. And he's done well. So it just shows like people are taking note of you if there's opportunities, and there's a few guys who are also putting their hands up with Marties and things like that. Sorry
to interrupt you. I mean, okay, so I didn't know that he was playing, but I mean, isn't that just fantastic? He's actually playing in formerly a Premier League A side, now obviously in Super League B, but as a normal player in Premier League A, you're struggling to get attention. He plays in the Varsity Shield, not even the Varsity Cup, and he is spotted and straight into a professional structure.
Yeah, definitely, JP. I remember we had this debate, I think, last year when you were asking about guys playing in that lower league, in which I said, listen, guys, if they work hard, it doesn't matter where you play. Yeah. Obviously, if you've got the talent and things like that, there's an opportunity. And I mean, he's got a bit of exposure now. And he's been doing well, he's been working hard. He lost about 16 Ks because he's a big man.
He is, yeah.
And so he's working hard, and he's got an opportunity now. And I've spoken to him yesterday, and I said, now, it doesn't stop here. So it's great exposure that they got, and it's good for UWC, and it's good for rugby in the sense that they are in province and we give guys opportunities. But go out there, play, and the club season is going to start again now. We're going to send the selectors out. So there's a lot of things for guys to play and to be taken notice of.
All right, so of course it is the Varsity Cup finals on Monday. Ish, would you like to, I know you guys haven't done the Super Brew in the Varsity Cup, but Ish, would you like to throw out a prediction?
Marties.
Marties by?
10.
Marties by 10. Jerome?
I'll say Marties by 7.
Marties by 7. Whoa, it's going to be a tight match.
It's going to be tight.
It is going to be tight. So in that case, I'm going to go with Marties by 15.
That's going to be that tight.
I mean, you're going to go low, I'm going to go high. You know, we're just going to throw it out there.
Morgan would say Marties by 2.
Yeah, no, Morgan would say Marties by 2. Yeah, he probably thinks he's watching Manchester United play Liverpool. All right, folks, that is, of course, the Varsity Cup. We're looking forward to those finals. And once again, congratulations to FNB UWC with their fantastic performance. Sorry, boys, you didn't pull away that trophy in the end there, but nevertheless, we're very proud of you, and the support that you've had at home. At home ground has been absolutely amazing this year. So it just goes to show what we can expect next year. And of course, FNB UWC, we're looking forward to following your progress in the club season. That's going to be coming up still during the course of the show. That is what we've been waiting for. It's been very exciting building up to it. And now finally it's getting started. All right, we're going to take an ad break. And when we come back, we'll start taking a look at what's happening in the club rugby space closer to home, specifically the Community Cup, before we move into the league fixtures. Back with you in a second now.
Hi, I'm Kobani Bobo and you're watching Cape Rugby TV.
Welcome back, folks. Cape Rugby TV, Wednesday at 9, as you know. And remember, you can find us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV. And in a couple of minutes' time, we're going to take a look at some of your Facebook comments that came in over the last day or two. We asked you which was your favorite picture, or at least your favorite fixture. And we have asked you in the past which is your favorite picture. So tell us your games, tell us your activity, tell us everything that you're busy with on Facebook. We put on TV, or you share it on Facebook, and then we put on TV, as you will see in the little video that that we're going to show you in a couple of seconds of the Facebook post. Of course, it's been Community Cup, and it's been quite exciting. Let's take a look now at the latest results in the Community Cup. Yeah, it was a win there for Dispatch over College Rovers, 26-24, as they came away with the final on the 1st of April. And there was, of course, not an April Fool's joke. In the East Rand, the Cranes, or the Brakpan team there, beating Rustenburg Impalas 58 points to 8. They took the third place final. And then Durbell beating Police 30 points to 3, and Evergreen losing 24-47 to Roodepoort. So that is a wrap of the Community Cup. Jerome, it wasn't 100% all the way for, I think SK Women's, didn't go all their way, and it certainly didn't end up where Durbell wanted it to. But nevertheless, a little bit of good experience, and now they get to go into the league. Yeah,
and I think SK doesn't have to feel that bad, but because they just lost 2 points to the champions from the Spets. Yeah. So I think they don't have to feel that bad, and it just shows the strength of our rugby in Cape Town, JP. And Durbanville were up there, and they've won the game there. So I think, yeah, it was good overall for rugby in Cape Town. Yeah.
SK Women's, Ish, you played for SK Women's for a number of years. Of course, a lot of, and I think you're obviously still actively involved with SK Women's. Your feeling on their performance in Community Cup?
I think they did superbly. The exposure that they got, the spectators that came out and supported the games, I think it can only be to their advantage going forward into the league. They were put in a pool of death. They had College Rovers, they had Dispatch. Yeah, so it was quite tough for them, but I was really impressed with the way they played, and I wish them all the best for the rest of the season.
100%, of course, 100% behind SK Women's, and looking forward to, well, of course, next year it's going to be determined completely differently. This year, SK Women's was accepted into the Community Cup as a wild card, so no guarantee that they're going to play in the Community Cup again next year. Next year, we'll see who wins the league this year. That will, of course, be the first choice, and then there will possibly be another wild card going into the Community Cup next year. And normally that wild card is a sort of a more previously disadvantaged club. Would you say SK still qualifies as a previously disadvantaged club-ish? I mean, they've had a lot of opportunities. They've played in a lot of national club champs. They've played in the Community Cup now. And they've been in Super League A for a very long time.
They've done really well over the years, and I think that that's due to the structures that have been put in place.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of players involved, and the community has come a lot behind the team.
Yeah.
And it can only do wonders, especially the Community Cup. It's just unfortunate that they were put in such a tough pool.
Yeah.
Maybe if they were put in a lesser strength pool, they probably would have gone on to maybe the semi-finals or maybe
of course,
the final.
Of course, they're very actively involved with supporting the community. So, I think, Jerome, maybe one can measure what is a previously disadvantaged club. You don't necessarily have to measure it on whether or not they are playing in a league that's a lower league or not. You can measure it on their player base. And how many, their fans or their youngsters, are they coming from a previously disadvantaged area? It doesn't have to be all about the first team.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't, JP. And as Ish was also saying, they're a tight community in the Boer Cup.
Yeah.
And there's still a lot of players from the Boer Cup and the communities that go there. And the fans there, all the people there, they can easily walk to the stadium. They've got a fantastic new stadium there now. So, they are one of the previous disadvantaged clubs. It doesn't matter what they've done, but they've done well to at some stage it's going to become, like you say, it's not, disadvantage is going to fall away, because I also don't like that word anymore.
Well, I don't really know how to work it out anymore. How do you work out what is a previously disadvantaged club? Are you telling me that there's only 6 advantaged clubs in in Cape Town, and the other 84 are previously disadvantaged? How do you work this out? It's a ridiculous statement.
I don't know. Ish is at the advantage club now because he's at Ish-maeel. So I don't know if they're more advantaged than
Are you guys more advantaged than Ish-maeel? Come on, okay, I'll call this thing a spade, considering that nobody really wants to call this. Let's face it, Ish-maeel, well, and pretty much still, is predominantly a white club. Yeah. All right, you guys agree with me?
Yeah, that's why they're advantaged.
That's why they're advantaged. Okay, so we all know that the majority of white people are still more advantaged than club people, colored people or black people. All right, that's a fact, and if you don't like it, well, it's just too bad. Okay, but we're still stuck to work out now if you're disadvantaged or advantaged. I think that there's only thing that's disadvantaged right now is my panel members. But yeah, it is club rugby time. We are looking forward to a very exciting season. It is going to be exciting. And this week, Cape Rugby TV starts it all off. And talking about SK Warmers, well, you want to know where we're going this weekend? We're going to a previously disadvantaged club. So, look at my panel's just laughing. And what's more is we're going to go and watch a previously disadvantaged club play another previously disadvantaged club in an advantaged area. So we're going to go watch SK Warmers take on Belhar at SK Warmers. It's going to be very exciting. Belhar-ish. They're an upcoming team. They have been really playing out of their socks. Okay, they didn't get in the Community Cup and they didn't play in the Varsity Cup with that, but they've been doing well in Super League A. They're getting stronger and stronger. People seem to be liking playing for Belhar, and SK Warmers come out of the Community Cup now. Both teams are ready to get firing. This is going to be a big game to start the season.
Definitely. Belhar has done really well over the years. They're sort of in an upward curve, and they've done well to stay in the top league. Saturday's clash will be a tough one. I'm sure SK will pull it through because they've had some good preparation of the Community Cup. I'm hoping that the injuries won't hamper the success, but the Community Cup really has done wonders for the team, the community, and it's going to be a tough one.
All right, so let's take a look at some of your Facebook clips then. You wanted to know who's saying what on Facebook. Right, let's take a look right now and see who said which game they're going to over the weekend. It's been very interesting. Let's see what you guys have to say. Let's take a look at your Facebook comments. Carl Kendricks, it says he's going to Brackenfell taking on Primrose. Sebesil Tepsa Mafika is going to LC's taking on Kraaifontein. Elmarie Morris says, hi, Mr. Cape Town TV. That was a little bit fast. Tigerberg up against Halberg is where Maurice Josephs is going. Jonas Mexon is going to Rocklands against Silverleaf. Goodwood is taking on Kelsriver. That's where Conrad Johan Reinicke is going. It's Peniel Villages against Solarians, and Manuel Williams is attending that match. Michelle Levy is, or Lekay at least, is a little bit concerned about what's happening there. Adrian Lawrence is, missed that one as well. Helderberg takes on Tygerberg. Damian Peterson is going to watch Belhar take on SK Woomers. Ian Nordeer is watching Milnerton take on Strand United. Angelo Aronsa is going to go and watch False Bay. And we see there that Brendan Watkins is going to watch Northerns take on Busy Bees. Fahim Naidu watching Manenberg take on Elanga. Dirk Witboy watches Hands and Hearts against Villages at Brookside. It is Johan Kefu and Dedricks watching Northerns Avonwood against Busy Bees. Dale Jansch is watching Eerste Rivier against Van der Stel. Nicole Robin Bailey taking on Tygerberg versus Elderberg. Grant Albertine, Kelsriver versus Goodwood. And Dwayne van Vieren is, of course, watching that final match. Union Mill against Strand United. Catch us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV. Ish-maeel, it is for you guys. Strand United, Milnerton, looking forward to the game?
Very much. Strand poses a very tough challenge. They've got good backer forwards and good backs, so it's going to be tough out there.
All right, let's take a look at the fixtures now, the other fixtures that are coming up starting on Saturday. In Super League A matches, we see SK Woomers taking on Belhar. It is Belleville against Vix. Helderberg are up against Tygerberg, while in Super League B, we see False Bay take on Hamlets. Villages take on Hands and Hearts, and Primrose take on Brackenfell. Jerome, it is season time. This is what everybody's been waiting for. This is what everybody's been training for. You alluded to the fact earlier on that there is so much rugby, so much activity. Guys coming out of the Varsity Cup, guys coming out of the Community Cup. Of course, there's been Vodacom Cup being played as well, but I doubt any of those guys are coming down to play in club rugby. And all of these teams have been having rugby festivals. They've been preparing for months, not days. They didn't just get back the other day, but months. How well do you think the clubs are going to be performing this year? If you look back over the last few years, and you just said it yourself, they've done so much training. Do you think the overall graph is going to get higher, the overall performance of the clubs?
I definitely think so, JP, because a lot of clubs started earlier in the season playing warm-up games, friendly games and things like that. They've done it a bit different than the previous years. They started earlier playing rugby because it's also important. You can do as much as conditioning and running and things like that, but your body needs to get used to the contact and playing the game, so you get much more fitter like that. So I'm definitely looking forward to this season. I know all the clubs were playing. They were playing over Easter, so they definitely look good.
So, Ish, you had quite a couple of games. You guys had that big festival where, of course, we came to film. It was the Brackenfell, at least Union Mill's 40th anniversary. How many other games did you have in addition to that warm-up game?
Well, we were invited to the Kraaifontein festival as well. Yeah. And we played against Paul. So it's an exciting time of the year for all Cape Townians, especially rugby mad supporters. We all know how passionate Cape Townians are about their rugby. Every supporter is an expert. Every supporter is the national coach. So you've just got to take that into consideration, and that just shows you the excitement and the passion that the people out there have for the game. And
you guys, from a Union Mill point of view, preparation, are you ready for the season?
Yeah, it's gone well. One thing that I've tried to work on is the discipline, off the field and on the field as well. I've also brought in Adrian Jacobs, the former Springbok. He's assisting me with the backs, and he brings with himself a wealth of knowledge, especially being played so much tests and super rugby games. So we're looking forward to the season ahead.
Ish, you mentioned this thing about discipline for players. You've been in the professional space for a long time. You've played international rugby. For the club guys out there, and we like to share this kind of knowledge, what do you mean by discipline?
Well, I think it's important that administration as well as coaches, they play a major role when it comes to discipline and enforcing discipline into not only the players, but into the spectators as well. They play a major role, and it's important that discipline in terms of punctuality, discipline in terms of attending training sessions, discipline in terms of sticking to game plans and playing what the coaches have asked them to do. Those are all structures that need to be put into place, but it filters down right from the top, from the administration, from the president, to the chairman, to the club captain, to the coach, to the captain, to the rest of the
So am I right in saying that if you, from a discipline point of view, do good administration, good communication, are starting to learn to come to practice on time, come to every practice, wear the right shirt, wear the right boots, then it lands up being transferred onto the field.
Most definitely. I think there's a trend where that's concerned and if you have discipline off the field, chances are that you're going to carry that discipline onto the field as well.
Yeah, Jerome.
Just JP, I think in terms of that, I think a lot of coaches has got it wrong because they must understand the guys work. So some of them want to instill discipline by saying we're going to start training at 6 o'clock or 6:30 or whatever. The most important thing is to instill discipline, which the coaches can take note of, is to find out exactly what time is your last player till what time does they work.
Yeah.
Even if it's 8 o'clock or 7:30.
Yeah.
That's the time that you said you're going to start training. Then you know there's no discipline issues and things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But once a coach wants to enforce discipline by saying, this is the time that I say you're going to train, you're not going to get it wrong.
Ish.
And you're going to punish a lot of people unnecessary.
Yeah.
I think Jerome has mentioned a very important point. We're dealing with amateur rugby. So guys are working, they've got things to do, they've got families, they've got wives, they've got children. So you've got to work around that. And what is important is that communication between players and coaches, just in terms of what's their schedule for the week, for the month. Guys are working shifts. We've got policemen at our club, and they've got to go. If there's a murder case, they've got to go. So it's just that communication between players and coaches, and that just makes, as coaches, jobs much easier. And then you can work around what you have at training, and you can start planning as well.
And I think in addition to that, and you guys will be able to add more information into this, is understanding the different personalities of each player, because some players will respond to fear, others will respond to respect, others will respond. So you have different personalities. You can't blanket everybody. So you can't scream and shout at everybody. Some guys will respond if you give them a pat on the back. Ish?
I think Mr. Pavata, he was a very good coach when it came to that, and Mr. Peter de Villiers, they used to get to know the player, and once you get to know the player, that player will play for you, and you can expect for him to die for you on the field when you need it. So it's important for coaches to get to know the players outside of rugby, and I'm sure they'll give them what they want on the field.
And it's very interesting what you just said, because I had this discussion with somebody the other day about culture. There's some clubs that are really battling to stay in the same position where they used to stay, and now they're blaming it all on money. But what you just said to me was, if you've got the respect of your player will play for the coach, and that's something that one can work on. In addition to having good entertainment and social structures and community structures, if the player is prepared to play for the coach, you're going to have players at your game.
It all comes down to honesty, and I think all that players want from coaches are honesty. Honesty might not be what the player wants to hear at that moment in time, but for the long-term benefit of the relationship between the player and the coach, I think it's important that honesty between the coaches and the players are established at a very early age.
Yeah. I think from my side, having been involved with some professional guys over the years, the one thing that a player wants to know is he wants to know where he stands. Whether he's going to play or not play, he at least wants to know where he stands so that he can make a decision on his future. So I think honesty, you hit the nail on the head. Right, folks, let's take a look at some of those other fixtures coming up this weekend. Or at least before we go to the other fixtures, let's just touch on some of these. Jerome, False Bay are taking on Hamlets. False Bay have come out into the season, or pre-season, should we say. They've come out guns blazing. Hamlets is really going to battle against False Bay. Yeah,
definitely, JP, because False Bay beaten two of the top clubs this warm-up game so far. So in Hamlets, it's new for them also, and coming from Marmaray, you know where Marmaray is.
Yes, of course, up on the West Coast. Yeah, man, I came from Marmaray, all right.
So it's I mean, it's good for them. I mean, they've worked hard to come up. But definitely, they're going to have a big game. They must know that.
Villagers take on Hands and Hearts. Primrose and Brackenfell. Primrose against Brackenfell. That's going to be a fairly tight match.
That's going to be a tight one. Primrose has done really well so far, but so has Brackenfell as well. I'm not going to call anyone on that one.
No. Of course, also in Super League A, we see Belleville take on Victorians, Helderberg take on Tygerberg. Those are two teams, Helderberg and Tygerberg, that have been battling it out for up and down within Super League A. Jerome, another tough one.
Yeah, you're talking about Helderberg.
Helderberg and Tygerberg,
Helderberg is also one of the teams that came up, and I know Ricky Peterson put in a lot of work there. They're a well-established club, and they've done a lot of work. And Tygerberg, I think it's going to be a tough one there. It's going to be a great game, and I think it's going to come to the last second of the game. Who's going to win that game?
Let's take a look at the fixtures in Premier League A and B now. Collegians take on Macassar, Peniel Villages take on Silurians, Kraaifontein and Elsie's Rivier, St George's and Scottsdene, Paarl and Rangers. In Premier League B, we see Langa take on Manenberg Rangers, Young Peoples take on Strand, Eerste Rivier and Van der Stel, Franschhoek, Silvertree, Strand United and Milnerton. Ish, big game for you guys. You're very keen to get the season underway.
Yeah, I think all the preparation has been done. We've had festivals, we've had 4 months of training, so we're keen to get the ball rolling, and good luck to all the teams out there. We will be looking at all the results, and
I'm sure you will. Yeah, you guys, everyone's poking a little, analysing everyone now.
Yeah, so just good luck to all the clubs out there, and we wish them all the best.
Let's take a look at the fixtures now in Division 1 and 2. And there we see Laguna take on Violet, Stelkor take on Atlantis, Northerns and Busy Bees, Wraithby and Hamadeers, Rocklands and Silverleaf, Young Wesleys take on Carlamore in Division 2, Blue Stars and Young Stars, All Saints and Masupumalele, Blue Jets and Caledonian Roses, Watsonia and Garden Tech. In Division 3 and Division 4, we see Temperance take on Richmond Rangers, Young Ideas and Imikawi, Whistling Wheels, Perseverance, Peninsula, Strand Pioneers, Retreat, Cloutiesville. Division 4, Young Brothers and Cities Police. They are new into the, or at least having now made a comeback into the Western Province Rugby Football Union structures. They take on Bishop Lavis, Progress and Thistle, Khayelitsha and Titans. While in the Paarl region, we see Simondium and Lower Paarl, Albions and Vineyards, Riverstones take on Vintmeel United, Violets take on Allendale, Young Gardens and Paarl Rangers, and Young Standards take on Peril United. It is going to be some classic clashes who are getting started from the word go. And can you believe we've got another, 6 months or so of club rugby? It feels like we've already been halfway through the season and it's only starting now. Leisure Hotels is one of our very keen supporters of the Western Province Rugby Football Union and the Cape Rugby TV show. And of course you want to win yourself a set of, or at least a night's accommodation, bed and breakfast at the Strand Towers, then you can do so. The last week's winner is Pat Richards. Congratulations, Pat. You win for yourself a night's accommodation, bed and breakfast at the Strand Towers. Make sure, folks, that you tune in weekly on Wednesdays at 9 o'clock. To put yourself in line to win the Leisure Hotels Strand Towers accommodation, bed and breakfast. There you see it right behind me, all right? Leisure Hotels 100% behind Cape Rugby TV. Let's take a look at the fixtures now in the Vodacom Cup. Of course, we see Western Province taking on the Bulldogs. They are playing in Paarl at 3:30, and if you've got half a chance to get out there, go and support the Western Province Vodacom Cup side playing in Paarl against the Bulldogs. Let's take a look at the logs now in the Vodacom Cup, and the Pumas are on the top in the north section with the Blue Bulls in second place, Falcon Limpopo Blue Bulls at the bottom, while in the south section we see the Sharks on the top there with 14 points, the Pampas on 11 points, and Western Province are in third place on 8 points, still in the run. So those are of course your logs in the Vodacom Cup, and we wish the Vodacom Cup side a lot of luck there. Well, we managed to get out of the two oceans over the weekend, and who did we bump into there? Legend himself, Paul Delport, and well, he's just back from Tokyo, having pulled up a little injury there, and it was a fantastic result for the Sevens, winning the Tokyo Sevens. Let's catch up with Paulie Delport and see what he has to say. Hello folks, we're out here at the Two Oceans Expo, and who do we bump into? It's the Sevens legend himself, Paul Delport. Paulie, what you up to here at the Expo?
Nothing much, Jeff. Just come to the Warrior stand, helping them out a bit. They've been good enough to sponsor a couple of the Sevens boys, so just checking out the vibe.
Well, it was just the other day that we were still watching you playing in Hong Kong, and we saw some nice tries there. It didn't go quite the way the boys wanted to.
Yeah, it didn't go too well this weekend, James. You know, I think the guys will regroup now in Tokyo. A couple of things to work on, but that's the thing with sevens now. I think the game's grown so much, the landscape's changed. There's so many competitive teams, and we're just going to have to make sure that we're at the top of our game for every game.
The knee, is it serious?
No, not too serious, James. It's been quite a long season. Just a bit of wear and tear. So it's not serious. They don't have to operate or anything. Just a couple of weeks off, couple of injections, and some recovery. South
Africa takes your place. I suppose Paul must be happy with that.
Very happy. Always wonderful to have Cecil back. Shame he's had an up and down season, struggling with injuries. So hopefully he'll come through this weekend and just gain a bit of confidence for us going into the World Cup in June.
Now tell us a little bit about some of the equipment here. I know that a lot of people on the Cape Rugby show have been asking us to do technical reviews. Yourself and some of the other sevens players are currently playing in this boot. This is a Warrior boot.
Yes, Warrior boot. It's called the Screamer. Absolutely fantastic, Jess. Very, very comfortable. Super technology. And yeah, the guys have really been enjoying playing, and I think the design also makes a big difference.
And in a scrum off position, does it make a bit of a difference having studs or blades?
Okay, it depends, Jeff. It all depends on the surface. If it's a bit muddy and rainy, we'll play in the 6 studs. But if the field's nice and hard and fast, then obviously we prefer playing in the blades.
Well, I must say, these look pretty sexy. I can't believe how modern age these things are. It's like unbelievable. Anyway, folks, those are basically your first sort of tech review. I'm sure we'll get more into it during the course of the year. A lot of people have been asking for tech reviews in rugby. Strapping, boots, jerseys, compression garments, gum guards. There's so much. Paulie, I think you're going to have to help us with some of those reviews. You've worn the compression garments, you've done the strapping, you've worn the boots.
Definitely, Jace. Anytime.
Listen, well, great to see you here at the Warrior stand, and we look forward to seeing you back on the park.
Thanks, Jace. Great to see you.
There we go, folks. Our first tech review with Paul Delport, so to speak. We're back with you in a mo. Welcome back, folks. Yeah, Paulie Delport there. Nice to catch up with him. What a pleasant surprise. Luckily, we had the camera and microphone at hand there. Paulie back from the sevens. Let's quickly look at the results now from the sevens. Of course, South Africa having performed fantastically there, beating New Zealand in the cup final, 24 points to 19, winning the sevens there in Tokyo, having that, of course, that fantastic performance after the HSBC sevens in Las Vegas. Australia 31-7 over France, United States beating Scotland 17-0, Argentina losing to England 38-0, and Canada beating Japan 27 points to 14. Jerome, we've had so many questions for tech reviews. Of course, one of these days we're going to be starting with Jerome's coaching tips. We're looking forward to that. But the people have been asking for coaching tips, referees, laws, rules, and so on. But the equipment, and you're going to help us with some of those coaching tips when we come out to your side there. Before we even start with coaching, just looking at the equipment that you're going to use in coaching. But if we look at the equipment and the technology in rugby itself, it's quite advanced compared to when you used to play.
Yeah, definitely, JP. When I used to play, we used tackle bags with poles, and we just put a few stuff around it, like pillows and blankets and things like that. But now it's proper stuff. No, I'm only joking. So it's proper stuff that you use now. So yeah, if you use the stuff correctly, JP, it can really be to your advantage. It's tackle seals, there's tackle bags, there's body armors, which you use to take a bit of the contact away from the body, which you put on and things like that. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that you can use.
I can't believe when I was standing there with Paul, I can't believe how light those boots are. You can't even feel them, they're so light.
Well, the amount of science that goes into these apparel and these footwear, it's amazing. Can only be for the benefit of the players. So the players have all the equipment that's necessary. All that they have to do is go out and play.
Yeah. Well, that is all you need to do is go out and play. What a fantastic statement. Just go out and play. Isn't that what rugby is about? Go out and play, and that brings everybody together. We're going to take an ad break, and when we come back, we'll take a look what's happening in the Super 15 before we start wrapping up the show. Back with you in a mo.
I'm Tim Swill, and you're watching Cape Rugby TV here in Greenpoint.
Welcome back, folks. Yeah, Cape Rugby TV, Wednesday at 9. Don't forget, Facebook, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV. Okay, so And don't forget the hashtag, all right, the social media hashtag, #WP Club Rugby. That's what keeps us all up to date in the world of club rugby. Okay, so on a Saturday, we're able to watch the hashtag and see exactly what you're thinking of the game, what the scores are, what's happening in the matches. Let's take a look now at the Super 15 results having played this weekend. The Stormers, of course, against the Crusaders didn't come out too well there. 14 points to 19, but it's down to the wire. Highlanders going down to the Reds 34-33. Hurricanes beating the Kings 46-30. 26-13 was the result for the Chiefs, or at least 23 points to 16 was the result for the Chiefs. The Brumbies 23-20 over the Bulls. The Cheetahs beating the Rebels 34-16. The Stormers, as I say, they lost in the dying minutes here to the Crusaders. And the Waratahs 23-19 over the Force. Jerome, it was down to the wire for the Stormers. I mean, they actually, I know it didn't go quite the way that everybody wanted, and a lot of maybe sort of Cape Crusaders will say, you know, like kind of, well, it wasn't a good game. But nevertheless, it was down to the last couple of seconds, and the Stormers could have won that game.
Yeah, definitely, JP. I just think that the Crusaders done their homework in terms of putting the Stormers under pressure at the right places, especially in the lineouts where they put us under pressure, and they kick at the right time. And I mean, the points came at the right time for them. So yeah, and it was a good result for them, not a good result for the Stormers. So hopefully they can bounce back again.
We caught up with some of the guys after the game. Of course, we managed to chat there to Brian Abana, Danny Jones, and Chippy Solomons, the manager of the DHL Stormers. Let's see what they had to say.
Yeah, I think it's always disappointing in front of your home crowds. Had an opportunity there at the end. All credit to the Crusaders. I think they came out with a great game plan. Tactically, they sort of held on to the ball pretty well. Put the ball in behind our wingers, which made it really tough to get some go forward. But yeah, a little bit of a setback, but I think the fighting spirit on this side will just bounce back next week in Bloemfontein. Yeah, definitely. I think the boys have been playing really well. I see Shadow Van Heerfer sort of came off the field there, so injuries are never nice, so hopefully I'll be able to get back on the field soon.
Yeah, it's always tough against the Crusaders. You know, last year we were also unlucky to lose right in Christchurch, but we thought we had them now in the end, but unfortunately the ball didn't stick, and that's the way rugby is, eh?
Yeah, we're disappointed we didn't pull it down at the end. I do think that they played towards the end, they came back. We had a good start, then we went to rest a bit, but I think towards the end we came back. And yeah, as you could see, we tried our best towards the end, and just one pass. Beautiful crowd, plus 47,000. I think it's wonderful. No place in the world can beat Newlands when it's full.
Welcome back, folks. Yeah, there we go. Brian Abana, not completely thrilled about the performance, but great for him to talk to us, and so positive still about his teammates and saying how they will bounce back. So hopefully the Stormers, they don't really need to bounce back. I think they're doing pretty well as it is. We've seen them face adversity before. Just back your boykies, so to speak. Evox Advanced Nutrition is, of course, the official sports nutrition supplier to Western Province Rugby and the DHL Stormers. If you want to win for yourself a Synergy Whey Protein, there you go, a Synergy Whey Protein. Get your cell phones handy now. Just tell us who is the official sports nutrition supplier to Western Province Rugby and the DHL Stormers. So it is the Synergy Whey Protein. And if you want to win for yourself, also, as we showed you before, that Shaker 600. These are really rare items, and you want to get a hold of one of these, as I mentioned, the Shaker 600, and you can unscrew the bottom, and that makes the shaker a lot smaller, and down at the bottom you have two little more containers. So in here you can put more powder, in here you can put your capsules, in here you can put more powder. This can go inside that, this can then go at the bottom there, and then you've got a little smaller shaker. So big shaker that turns into a small shaker. Synergy Whey Protein is now up for grabs, and you can get yourself into the mix there. Right, there we see. This is how you need to do it. Who is the official sports nutrition supplier to Western Province Rugby and the DHL Stormers? Tell us their favorite product. Just SMS your name and answer to 33280. Last week's winner, congratulations to Chris Solomons. You win for yourself a Synergy Whey Protein as well as that Evox 600 shaker, and also did win a set of double tickets to the Stormers versus Crusaders match. Let's take a look at the Super 15 fixtures now. Well, there we see it's the Blues up against the Highlanders, the Brumbies take on the Kings, the Sharks, the Crusaders, the Hurricanes, the Waratahs, the Force, the Rebels, and the last match of the weekend is the Cheetahs up against the Stormers playing away. Super Brew players and posers. You want to know who did the best in Super Brew and who did the worst? Well, there you see. Top Cat was, of course, the best player, highest ranking performer, and the worst was Trien. Trien did the worst there. Well, the yellow cap this today for the celebrity pool goes to Morgan Newman. Morgan is, of course, absent today, so unfortunately we're not able to give him the Subaru cap. So maybe I'll just wear the cap there. No, I don't think I can, because I think I was the worst performer in the Subaru panel. Didn't go my way, didn't go Mr. H's way at all. Right, of course, it's now time to see what our panel is going to predict in the Super 15. Ish, we're going to throw you here in the deep end. I'm going to get Jerome started. Jerome, Blues on the Highlanders.
Blues by 7.
Ish.
Blues by 10.
All right, I'm going to go with the Blues by 7 as well. The Brumbies take on the Kings. Jerome.
Brumbies by 30.
Ish.
Brumbies by 15.
I'm going to go with the Brumbies by 35. The Sharks take on the Crusaders in Durban. Ish.
Tough one. Crusaders by 5.
Jerome.
Sharks by 2. Morgan is not here.
Yeah, oh, this is going to be a tough one. Yeah, because I am such a big Sharks fan, I'm going to have to go with the Crusaders. I'm going to say the Crusaders by 5. And then the Hurricanes take on the Waratahs in Wellington. Ish.
Hurricanes by 12.
Jerome.
Hurricanes by 9.
I'm going to go with the Hurricanes by 5. The Force take on the Rebels in Perth. Ish.
Force by 6.
Jerome.
Force by 10.
Force by 10. I'm going to go with the Force by 15. And then the Cheetahs take on the Stormers in Bloemfontein. Ish.
Stormers by 15.
Jerome.
Stormers by 9.
Stormers by 9. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Stormers by 13. That'll be my lucky number for the weekend. All right, that's a wrap of our Cape Rugby TV show. Remember, the season kicks off this weekend. We need your tweets. We need your Facebooks. And make sure that you stay active on social media. If you haven't loaded Twitter onto your cell phone, do so, because you're able to then follow the back channel and watch the results and information falling out of the sky, literally, in the Club Rugby space. So back channel is #WP Club Rugby. There, you see it on your screen right now. So include this in all your tweets and follow and retweet other people's tweets, because that way everybody can see what you're tweeting, and it's a great way for you to gain followers. Ish-maeel, Dollie, the legend himself, thank you very much for joining us on the show this evening.
Thanks for having me. I hope this is not the last time.
It'll definitely not be the last time, my man. We're you're not far from us down the road here at Milton, so we'll be dragging you out here all the time. And great to have you here, because we love seeing guys who are involved in Club Rugby come back to Club Rugby and give it back. So great to have you here. Jerome, have a good rugby weekend.
Yeah, JP, good evening. Looking forward for this weekend.
Yeah.
Club starting, so it's going to be exciting.
It is exciting. And of course, folks, don't forget to join us this weekend. SK Warmers take on Belhar. And I'm not sure if I can still call it the track, but it is a SK Warmers home ground. We'll be back with you guys next week. Same time, same place. Bye-bye.